टच करतो. बरोबर बरोबर.
Just for 2 minutes, I'm just re-announcing the festival sponsorships. Flower Dress Seva, 25,000 rupees. Abhishekam Flower Seva, 10,000 rupees. Garland Seva for all the deities, 5,008 rupees. Rajbhog Seva, 3,008 rupees. Prasanam Seva, 50,000 rupees. And also we have Pushpa Abhishek Seva for 508 rupees. So we can still make a coupon from the counter for 508 rupees to do the Pushpa. Yeah, dear Abhishek. Thank you.
ओम अस्य कर्मणा स्वस्ति भवन्तु ब्रुवन्तु आयुष्मदे स्वस्ति ओम स्वस्ति ओम स्वस्ति ओम स्वस्ति ओम स्वस्ति न इन्द्रस्मृतस्रवः स्वस्ति न पुष्पस्य वेदः स्वस्ति न तक्षो अष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पति ददातु ओम अस्य कर्मणा रिद्धिं भवन्तु भवन्तु ओरिद्धामोर्धामोरिद्धाम् ओरिद्धमाष्टं सनुयाम वजामानो मन्त्रं सर्वदेहोपायम्
दिव्य चिंता
for Abhishek. Secondly, initiated devotees who are fasting, and they are not taken prasad, and they are in the right costume, can come over for Abhishek. And we are also open for all the sponsors, 508 rupees. You can pay and get the coupon to do the Abhishek and form a line here on the left side. Hare Krishna. You can go on.
देखो दिखा दो अभी ये है शटर स्पीड ये है आईएसओ ठीक है तो बंद करो ये चीज मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता राइट क्लिक टच टू फोकस ये देखो वर्सेस शटर स्पीड ये हाँ ओके चलो अभी मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ राधा रानी का ड्रेस है ना ठीक है नहीं मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ कोई ना
Hare Krishna. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಪನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿರೋರು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಇವಾಗ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. Please come for Abhishek now. Hare Krishna. Those who have taken coupons, please come for Abhishek. अभिषेक के लिए कोई कूपन्स दिया है तो वो लोग अभी आ सकते हैं, अभी करना है. हरे कृष्णा. Those who have taken coupons, please come forward, please. Hare Krishna. Still there sitting, some devotees. Repeat. Please come for Abhishek. Those who have taken coupons. Hare Krishna.
जय राधे जय कृष्णा जय वृंदावन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन
Hare
totally trans.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Jai Dinabandhu Prabhu ki Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So the Abhishekam will stop here because we have Dinabandhu Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada's disciple. So we will have a wonderful class today on the Vrindavan. Okay, the flower Abhishekam will go on. Till Dinabandhu Prabhu will do the Abhishek. So we can stop the coupons there. Stop the coupons. Okay, thank you. Kirtan can continue. Kirtan can continue.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की।
हरे कृष्णा। श्री कृष्ण पुष्प अभिषेक महामहोत्सव की, His Grace दीनबंधु प्रभु की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की। So we'll be having the good fortune to hear from His Grace Deenabandhu Prabhu, disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Srila Prabhupada. So we request all the devotees to remain silent and also keep your phones in switch off mode or silent mode. Also control your kids if there are any kids. I would like to introduce a few things about Prabhuji. His Grace Deenabandhu Prabhu is settled in Braj, Vrindavan, and although from a foreign country, Prabhuji exactly look like a Brajavasi. And Prabhuji speaks in Braja language also and nicely interacts with locals. And I've seen this when I went to Braj Parikrama with Prabhuji. So Prabhuji speaks to all the Brajavasis in Braja language and they like Prabhuji very much. They call Prabhuji as Baba. And he's part of ISKCON Braj Parikrama every year. And Prabhuji is an excellent narrator of Krishna's pastimes, and we have the good fortune to hear from Prabhuji all the leelas. Wherever we go, we sit there and Prabhuji narrates the leela of that place, and we can actually see through Prabhuji's narration the leela places. Simply we go and see, we cannot see the places, the leela stalis. And Prabhuji explains the leela happened and the leela stali, we are able to see that through these narrations. And Prabhuji is the source of inspiration for innovating Vrindavan temple. If you go to Vrindavan, there is a Vrindavan temple. So it is very dear to Prabhuji. And Prabhuji took that temple from other person who was actually maintaining it before, and Prabhuji gave it to ISKCON, and Prabhuji is maintaining that near Nandagaon in September 1917. And he was appointed the temple president in Portland, Oregon. And Prabhuji preached there for more than 5 years, convincing many sincere souls to take up spiritual life. In 1978, Prabhuji went to Miami, Florida and served outside the temple there. Finally, in 1984, he got the opportunity to serve in the Sri Krishna Balram Mandir in Vrindavan. And more than 3 decades, I think now it is 4 decades, it's a long time it's written, so it's 4 decades, Prabhuji passed, he has become a prominent Brajavasi. And he still continues to take pilgrims and parikrama. And Prabhuji inspires in all love of Raja, showing different holy places around Vrindavan and narrating enchanting stories of Sri Radha Krishna related to those places. Among various other significant projects in Vrindavan, Prabhuji helped in restoring the Samadhi Mandir of the great saint Sri.
Ishvara, and be at the lotus feet of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Oh, Giriraj Maharaj ki. So, my health is not good. Doctor said don't sing. So we'll ask our dear friend Artabandhu Prabhu to sing Jai Radha Madhav for you. Hare Krishna. Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari. It's fine. Jayo Radha Jayo Radha
जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय राधा जय जय राधा माधव जय
आनंद गुड़ी वैष्णवृंद की, सद गोस्वामी प्रभु की, आचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gosama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Pushpa Abhishek Festival Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So we are arranging Hindi translation. His Grace Ravinath Shikesh Prabhu is doing at the PPT counter. You can see Prabhuji is there. So those who want in Hindi translation, you can sit there and hear from Prabhuji. Ravinath Shikesh Prabhu, he raised his hand. So you can sit near BBT counter if you want in Hindi, want to hear in Hindi. And for Kannada Santushta Prabhu, you want to do. So Prabhuji will be sitting near Garudadev altar. So ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಅನುವಾದ ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸಂತುಷ್ಟ ಪ್ರಭು is there, you can hear from him. Garudadev altar. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Let's hear from Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya-manubhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa-kadamaya Rati Swapadandigam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Panchakalpataruhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vaivasya Patitanandavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. So, in my talk, we'll mention about Portland, Oregon. As you heard, I was president there for more than 5 years. There's a very interesting pastime with Srila Prabhupada there in Portland that nobody knows. Only His Grace Shyam Sundar Prabhu told me this pastime. Shyam Sundar is actually from Oregon, not far from Portland, a place called Salem. Just like in your Tamil Nadu, you have a Salem also. Huh? So we have a Salem in Oregon. The Shyam Sundar was from that place. So he was very anxious for Prabhupada to come to Portland. So somehow he arranged that Prabhupada would come there. And then they arranged nearby, a little ways south from Portland, is Eugene, where there's a big University of Oregon at Eugene, very famous university. So they arranged a big program for Prabhupada at the university. So it's a couple of hours drive, although the road is straight like an arrow. You never saw this I-5 just goes straight like this. So Shyam Sundar got his parents late modeled, right off the press, Oldsmobile Cutlass. Probably never heard of this car, but anyway, it was a very famous car in America. Very powerful car. There's those days before they worried about that the oil was going to finally finish. We used to have big engines with 8 cylinders and things like that. So this was a big V8. So he got that to take Prabhupada to Eugene. So they drove down with several devotees, and they had arranged that there was a place called the Yoga House. They were all Bhogi Yogis. And The atmosphere was like that, Bhogi Yogi Ashram. So the Prabhupada stayed there, and then the program was in the evening. So they went to the program, and Prabhupada gave his lecture, and then he had kirtan, and the students were jumping out of their skin. Everybody was jumping up and down and jumping up and down, and super ecstatic. And afterwards, so many questions were there. People just kept asking question after nice questions, So the program went very late at night, and then they served out prasadam to all the students and everyone. So then they all got in the car, and Shamsundar started driving back toward the yogi house. And Prabhupada was so observant of everything. He understood that he was heading back to the yogi. I recognized the area. And Prabhupada said, no, we want to stay in our own place. He wanted to drive 2 hours up to Portland. So it was late at night. To get to I-5, there was another highway. He got on that highway. There was nobody there. There was a little bit of rain. There's nobody on the highway. And Prabhupada put his head back and appeared to be sound asleep. And the devotees in the back seat were, and he got on I-5, and like I said, as straight as an arrow. And it was late at night, nobody was on the highway, it was a little rainy, so there was no one. He was just flying down the highway. And because there's a big engine, burn. Finally, they reached a temple. As soon as he stopped the car, Prabhupada looked at his watch. He said, immediately, he said, hour and 15 minutes. He said, average of 85. Probably just calculated like that, average of 85. Once I saw you did 110. I'm talking about miles per hour, that's like, it's about 200 kilometers per hour, I think. Because there's nobody in the highway, it's straight as an arrow, nobody's in the highway. So. But I said, once I saw you did 110. And then when they got upstairs, Prabhupada looked at Shamsundar, he said, you shall never drive like that again. He says, I was frightened to death. He says, of course, Krishna will protect us, but there's no reason to take any chance. It was amazing. He thought Prabhupada was sound asleep. Prabhupada was over. He said, once I saw you did 110. So that was before my time at Portland. And so today is the Pushpa Purnima. This is a very special day. And especially in the West, we speculated that it was a wrong spelling. It must be Pushpa Abhishek. We never heard of a month called Posh. But actually, the second month after Kartik is Posh. And there's a special pastime that happened, especially in Belvan. If you ever go to Keshigan, you look way across the Jamuna and way across the fields, and you'll see some big tall trees. That's Belvan. And there's a temple of Lakshmiji, because she's trying to become qualified to enter into the Ras Leela. But we know in 10th canto, there's a verse by the Gopis where they explain that even Lakshmiji was not able to enter the Ras Leela. Because to enter the Ras Leela, you have to become a follower of the cowherd damsels of Braj. So how is Lakshmiji going to follow some cowherd girls? Their business, they take cow dung, make uplas. She's never touched cow dung in her life. How is she going to do like that, milking cows and so many things? So let's become follower of the cowherd damsels of Braj. You can't enter. But she's saying, I'm big Lakshmiji. How can I do this? So she's still there in Bailvan. And if you give some extra dakshina to the pujari, they'll lift up the cloth. You can see, because you can see two hands like this. There's two other hands like this. She's sitting in meditation. And she's performing penances and austerities to enter into Vrindavan. But still she can't come. So one time, Krishna, he decided he would go give some special mercy to Lakshmi and go there and see her. So Krishna came there and Lakshmi was sitting in meditation. She didn't notice that he had come. And he thought he was going to see Lakshmi. She's big, big Lakshmi. So he came as a little cowherd boy. If you go there, you'll see there's big, big Lakshmi, and on the side there's this little tiny cowherd boy sitting there. So she was ignoring him. She was meditating. So then, just like ordinary little child, if he's ignored, then what does he do? He cries. So Krishna began to cry. Then her meditation was broken. And this happened on one Thursday in Posh. So he began to cry. So her meditation broke. After all, Lakshmi, she's a woman. How woman cannot tolerate that a child is crying? So she didn't know what to do. The little child is crying. Even today, if you go there, you see this tiny little village. Even the buses, well, now they made it another way. The buses can come. But in the old days, the buses couldn't even come there. You had to walk for 1.5 kilometers to get there. So it's just tiny little remote villages. So somehow she got some rice, somehow she got some dal, and she cooked some khichdi for Lala. So the famous bhog in Belvan is khichdi prasad. If you always go there, then you give some dakshina to the pujaris and ask for some bal bhog. You get some bal khichdi. So nobody knows which Thursday of the month of Posh. So every Thursday there's a khichdi mela. 2 months after Kartik, we were there with we had big Sankirtan crew, we had big kitchen crew and cooking crew and serving crew and book distribution. We distributed almost 2 lakhs of plates of prasadam. 4 Thursdays. Every once in a while, there's 5 Thursdays. By chance, there's 5 Thursdays in Bushman. Mainly 4. So 4 Thursdays, we distributed almost 2 lakhs of plates of prasadam. Over 1 lakh of Prabhupada's books. And so many people were dancing in Harinam Sankirtan. We had every Thursday for this Posh Mahina, we had big khichdi mela there. And you'll see if you go there, all these big come and they had these great, we also they dig out these pits in the ground and put bricks all around and then these huge woks like this. And they're cooking hot khichdi. It's not only hot, but it's spicy hot also. Wow. And big khichdi mela is there. And now it's become very commercial. As you see, there's Ferris wheel comes and the carousel comes and everything comes. Everybody, everywhere they're selling jalebis and so many things. So, and if you see the deities carefully, you see Krishna, he's there. Lakshmi's sitting in meditation. And this little tiny cowherd boy sitting there, his hand is like that, as if he's going. So anyway, we speculated Poshya must be another way of spelling Pushpa. Now, Western countries this time of year, just like our health is very bad. We were supposed to come earlier, but we were not in any condition to travel because right now our high in Vrindavan is lower than your low. Is it the other way around? Your low here is higher than our high in Vrindavan. So we got a very bad cold. So in the Western countries, there's no question of doing and It's snowing and there's no flowers anywhere. How are you going to do Pushpa Abhishek? So the president who was there before me, this festival came. So he rented a big hall in the university and he did a big program there. But it's winter time in the Western countries and it's freezing, and there's no flowers. So what he did, they folded up toilet paper and made flowers. They made garlands of toilet paper and flowers, and everybody throwing toilet paper flowers over the deities. And I thought, this is crazy. Because we're Westerners, we never heard of Pushpa. December, January, February. So I thought, this is toilet paper flowers is not a good idea. So then when I became president, I decided we'll also do this festival, but we'll do it in a different way. And I wrote to Prabhupada and I said, in our countries, when this Pushpa Abhishek festival, we thought it was Pushpa Abhishek, not Pushpa Abhishek. This Pushpa Abhishek festival comes, there's no flowers whatsoever, it's freezing cold. It's not very proper time to be pouring flowers all over the deities, it's freezing cold. So, but in June, Portland is known as the Rose City. Just like here in Bharat, your Chandigarh is famous for the rose gardens. So Portland is also known as the Rose City. So I told Prabhupada in June, there's so many roses here and so many flowers everywhere. Can we do this Pushpa Abhishek festival in June? And I thought, this is a big speculation. Prabhupada's going to write back and chastise me. Prabhupada wrote back, yes, exclamation point. You can celebrate Pushpa Abhishek festival in June as you have suggested. And by our great fortune, there was one devotee named Vishnu Jan Swami. And his companion was Tamal Krishna. And they were traveling, they had a big bus. In the back of the bus, they had deities of Radha and Krishna. So they're driving down the highway in a bus. So they tied the deities with a cloth, they had a permanent, fixed thing on. They tied the deities around the waist. So they became known as Radha Damodar because they were tied around. The beautiful deities. Now they've stopped traveling. They're staying in Gitanagari in Pennsylvania. Very beautiful deities of Radha Damodar. And especially his partner, Tamal Krishna, he was famous for stealing devotees for the temples. So they were not welcome in many places. But I didn't care that they stole a couple of devotees. We just loved to have their association and see Radha Damodar. So this is one place they were welcome. They loved to come to Portland. So we integrated their visit to Portland with this Pushpa Abhishek festival. And they would bring Radha Damodar and we would make we call it chicken wire. I don't know, it's a little thin wire like this, to keep, other animals from coming inside, So we make a chicken wire palace. And we would go around at night, and everywhere there was roses. We would just get these big plastic, garbage bags, just fill them with roses. And then we'd have everyone would come. We'd put Radha Damodar inside this chicken wire palace. And then everyone would come and put roses. Because there's little holes like this, so you just put the roses in like that. And we make this big rose palace. And then we had trash bags and trash bags filled with rose petals. And the whole rest of the day, we would have all the people who came to the festival. It was a beautiful park called Laurel's Park. It's very famous for its azaleas and rhododendrons, special type of flower that grows in that area that time of year in June. Beautiful, they're all different colors, green and red and blue, and so many beautiful. So this Laurel's Park was famous for the big green meadow. So on top of the meadow, we'd have Radha Damodar in their rose palace. And then we'd have everyone throwing rose petals over the palace. And then for the rest of the day, we would be having rose petal fights. Picking up the prasad and throwing it at each other. So we used to have this. That's why I was thinking about Portland. This used to be a famous festival in Portland with Radha Damodar. It was so nice. And we serve out prasadam to everyone. It's a very wonderful festival. Anyway, now we know that it refers to this poshmine also. Has to do with potion, to nourish. Actual festival is to bathe the deities with ghee, nice warm ghee. That's what in the cold season you want nice warm things, So, and this Posh Purnima is also very famous because this is the day that Lord Ram was crowned king of Ayodhya. He arrived back from his Banvas on Diwali, but then official coronation took place on this Posh Purnima, so this very, other reason is a very special day. So all these special days, special festivals are there just to help us to remember Krishna. So I was thinking today, because Prabhuji mentioned that on our altar we have Giriraj. So a couple of years ago, we published a book, Giriraj, the King of Mountains. Just about every pastime you can imagine. Everybody goes to Govardhan and runs around the hill to do Olympics. But you don't know how many places you're missing, and how many wonderful pastimes are there. In fact, we did 7-8 years of research on this. And we consulted Braj Bhakti Vilas by Narayan Bhatta Goswami. And he gives the Achman mantras and Pranam mantras for everywhere in Braj. His Braj Bhakti Vilas covers the whole of Braj. And there's one chapter just on Govardhan. And he talks about places there, and nobody knows what we're talking about. They're lost. Even after 500 years, so many pastime places are lost. So every place we could find, now we have, and our other books we have like 10 or 12 pictures, but everybody loves our Artabandhu, Arjun Bhattacharya, his photos. So we decided to make a picture book, 284 pictures in this book. Because I kept talking about places, I'd never seen that place. So he'd go there, go around and take pictures. And he says, I never seen that place. He'd go there, take. So then we decided that nobody's seen many of these places. So we made this beautiful book about Govardhan. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we also find that Lord Chaitanya did Prikrama of Govardhan when he came to Braj. And Chaitanya Charitamrita describes that he had a special Prikrama mantra. A special Prikrama mantra. Actually, this verse you'll also find in Venugit. I can't remember which 10th canto. I can't remember which chapter it is, which verse. But this was the mantra that when Mahaprabhu was doing Prikrama of Govardhan, he was singing. Hantaya Madriya Bala Haridasa Bhaja Yad Rama Krishna Charanam Sparasam Pramoda Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayustayor Yat Pani Yasuya Vasakandara Kanda Mulai. So in Sanskrit, hanta means oh. Hantayam. Oh. Handayam Adri Abala Hadida Sabarja. This verse is spoken by the gopis. It says Hantayam Adri. Adri means hill. And since the gopis are talking amongst themselves, they say Abala, oh girls. Because legend has it that the women are the weaker sex. Somehow they always get their way, but legend has it that they're the weaker sex. So we know Bal, like Balaram, he's very strong. Hmm? So the girls are talking, say, Abala, oh girls, Antaya Madri Abala, Haridas Abarja. Hmm? There's many Haridasas. Yudhishthira, he's also known as Haridas. And Uddhav is also known as Haridas. But Haridas Abarja, the most bestest devotee of Hari, is this hill named Giriraj. Handayam Adriyabala Haridas Abarja. He's the most bestest devotee of Krishna. Hmm? This is a mystery of Govardhan. He's Krishna and he's the best devotee both, all in the same. Handayam Adriyabala Haridas Abarja. Yad Rama Krishna Charanam Sparsham Pramoda. In Braj, when we talk about Ram and Krishna, we're talking about Krishna and Balaram. So Yad Rama Krishna Charanam. Charanam we know means feet. Huh? Sparsha, we know this word sparsha from Bhagavad Gita, right? What verse is it? Matra sparsha sukha, huh? So sparsh means to contact, to touch. Hmm? So all day long, Krishna and Balaram and all the cowherd boys are running on top of Govardhan, herding the cows. So all day long, Charan, Sparsh are getting the touch with the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram. And Pramoda, everybody has a friend named Pramod, right? In Bharat anyway, we all have a friend named Pramod. Pramod means joyful. So he's getting the touch of the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram. So he's very, very joyful. Other reason that he's very joyful, next verse says, Manam tanoti sahago ganayos tayoryat. Manam, just like we know in Shikshastra, manina manadena. So man means to give respect. It also means to give service. So he's very joyful because he's serving. Manam tanoti sago. First of all, he's serving the cows. Hmm? He's serving the cows because the cows are very important for Krishna's service. So he's serving go, ganayos. Ganayos mean gun, the cowherd gun, the cowherd boys. So he's joyful. He's serving cows and he's serving Vaishnavas. Huh? Huh? Then Tayoryat, last. First we have to serve cow and Vaishnava, then Tayoryat, those two, Krishna and Balaram. First we serve the cows and the devotees, then we can serve Krishna and Balaram. Manam tanoti sahago ganayos Tayoryat. And how he's serving? Paniya. The first word that our Western devotees learn in Hindi. Pani. Right now, Braj is very cold. In fact, 50% of uh, my health increased 50% just by coming here to your Bangalore. Uh, but ordinarily, it's very, very hot. Uh, so everybody's, oh, Prabhu, where's Pani? This is our first word that the Western devotees learn in India. Pani. Mhm. And you can see this is the difference between us and the Goswamis. We read in Sad Goswami Astakam, Hey Radhe Vrajadevi Ke Chalalite, Hey Nandasuno Kuta. Kuta means where. Hmm? The gopis are running here and there, asking, where is Krishna? Is he on the side of Govardhan? Is he in the Jamuna? Is he in the Kadambavan? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Kuta? Hmm? This is the Goswamis. And we come to Braj, and what do we ask? Prabhu, where's Pani? Prabhu, where's the bathroom? There's a difference between us and the Goswamis. And Biswanath Chakravarti Thakur, he describes that not just water, but amras, mango juice, and pilu ras. If you come in Vrindavan in the springtime, you'll find these special trees called pilu, little tiny burgundy colored fruits. It's a favorite of Krishna and Balaram and the Kaur boys. Little tiny fruits. They come just in the springtime when the sun starts. You see them? Pilu fruits everywhere. And Krishna and Balaram, they just love these fruits. In fact, when Jagadananda Pandit went to Vrindavan, that's very interesting. Because he wanted to go so many times, he asked Mahaprabhu to go. And finally he asked him, but that was after he brought a whole pot of sandalwood for Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu said, everyone will laugh. I'm a sannyasi. If I smell like sandalwood, what is this? Hmm? So Jagadananda became very angry, so he's such a Bama. So he smashed that pot. Who brought sandalwood oil? And then he asked again to go to Braj. And Mahaprabhu said, no, now you'll go there, you're angry with me, you'll criticize. So finally Mahaprabhu gave him permission. He said, you go there, you stay with Sanatana Goswami, you stay with the devotees, you see Braj with Sanatana Goswami, you see all the places, and then you return. Why return? He said, because if you stay in Vrindavan, just like in English we say, familiarity breeds contempt. I don't know if there's a Hindi translation for that. Anyway, familiarity breeds contempt. Because there's so many people in Vrindavan, thousands of people in Vrindavan, but they all forgot. They're all busy eating, sleeping, and making politics. Mhm. Only few out of millions of thousands of people, only few people actually meditating that I'm living in Vrindavan. But if you go there and you return, then you'll always think, oh, I went to that wonderful place, Vrindavan. Krishna Balaram were so incredible. Radhasham Sundar was so beautiful. Gaurnitai is so amazing. Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi Mandir is just out of this world. And we went with Dinabandhu to Dandagam, and we went to Barsana, and we went to Govardhan. When can we go again? And you'll always think of Vrindavan. And those who always think of Vrindavan, who always remember Vrindavan, they actually live in Vrindavan. So he told Jagadananda, you go there, you stay with Sanatana, you stay with the Vaishnavas. He said, you will not understand the Brijvasis. Krishna is there, you don't worry about them. But don't criticize. Same time, don't intimately associate. Don't offend them. Don't intimately associate with them. You see all the places with Sanatana Goswami, with the Vaishnava, and then you return. And then you'll always remember, oh, when can I go to that nice place, Vrindavan? Oh, it's such a nice time. They always think. And those who always remember Vrindavan, they're the ones actually living in Vrindavan. So when Jagadananda came back, he brought sand from the Ras Leela. He brought Gunjamala and one Giriraj and dried pilu fruits. And he gave the dried, Mahaprabhu kept everything, but he gave the dried pilu fruits to the devotees, had them distribute the dried pilu fruits to the devotees. The pilu is a type of tree, it won't grow in Bengal. Bengal is very, very damp place. You know, if there's always raining. But in Vrindavan, Braj is right on the edge of the Rajasthan desert. So it's a very dry place. So pilu grows only there in Braj. It doesn't grow in Bengal. So the Bengali devotees, they don't know the pilu fruits. Because a special thing about them, if you take the pilu fruits, you have to take your tongue and smash them against the roof of your mouth. If you bite them, they have a seed inside. If you break that seed, then you'll burn your mouth like chili. So the Bengali devotees, they don't know these pilu fruits. So Mahaprabhu had them distribute the pilu fruits for the Bengali devotees. And instead of just sucking on the dried fruits, they began to chew on them. And they broke the seeds and they all burned their mouth. And Mahaprabhu was laughing to see all the fun. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says not just pani, not just water, but pilu ras. Pilu ras is there. And madhu, shahad. From all the trees is flowing honey. And so many, we don't see with our material eyes, but so many waterfalls are falling down the sides of Govardhan, crystal clear water. Falling down the sides of Govardhan. We can't see with our material eyes. And they're making beautiful kunds, beautiful water, beautiful kunds all around Govardhan. And the gopis, they're so envious of those kunds. They're so envious of those waterfalls. Why? Because right in front of everyone's eyes, they're embracing every limb of Krishna and Balaram, right in front of everyone's eyes. They're so envious of these waterfalls and kunds around Govardhan. So pani is suyavasa. Suyavasa means grass. Two types of grass Govardhan is providing. One type of grass to nourish the cows and make them nice and fat and give lots and lots of nice thick milk. And then there's this durva grass that we use in the puja. So Govardhan is supplying that also. Two types of grass, suyavasa. And suyavasa khandara. Khandara means cave. There's so many caves on Govardhan. My dear friend Madhavananda, he did one whole edition of his Krishna Katamrit just on Govardhan. And he found out so many caves. Because Mahaprabhu, he considered that Govardhan was not different from Krishna, so he refused to walk on the hill. But the Brisvasis and other people, they can go up. So they've told about so many caves here and there. Practically the only cave we can see if you know where to go. The very end of Govardhan is Punchari, because that's the tail. Giriraj is shaped like a peacock. Radhakund and Shamakund is two eyes. And the very, very end of Govardhan, where Apsara Kund and Naval Kund and Putrika Lota Baba is there, that's Punch, that's the tail. So that village is called Punchari. So that's the tail of Govardhan. So if you know where to go, Raghava Pandit has his cave there. In the old days when we used to go, I'm talking about 40 years ago, Baba would let us come inside the cave. There's hardly nobody knew what Vrindavan was. Only because of Prabhupada, anybody knows Vrindavan. Even the Brajvasis admit, there's so many famous guys now in Vrindavan, but Prabhupada was the one who put Vrindavan on the map, and all the Brajvasis, they know that. So hardly anybody was there. So the Baba, he used to let us come inside. We go down inside Raghava Pandit's cave, and it's always nice and cool down there. That's why the Babas like to make caves to do their bhajan, because it's so hot. You know, they go down underneath the earth. It's nice and cool. And in the cool time, it's not so cold down there. So we could go in. Now, of course, now so many people come. They've locked it, and he just left a little window, and you have to know where to go to find that little window. You can see down into the Raghava Pandit's cave. That's the only cave we can see. When you go to ISKCON Bhaktivedanta Ashram in Govardhan, see on top of the hill, there's the old temple ruins. That was the Dani Rai temple. There's no worship going on there now. But young Brishvasi boys, they told Madhavananda, underneath that temple, there's a cave. There's many caves all around. We can't see. Only that one, Raghava Pandit's cave, we're able, practically the only one we're able to see. Because sometimes it's too hot, so the cowherd boys, they can go inside the caves. Sometimes it's too cold. Sometimes it's raining. Sometimes it's very windy, so the cowherd boys can go inside the caves. And Radha and Krishna perform so many intimate pastimes in the caves of Govardhan. That's another reason why he's the best devotee. He's so best. He hides Radha and Krishna in their intimate pastimes. And he sees everything. He's a witness of everything. So he's so dear to Krishna. Haridasa Varja. So Kandara, so many caves are there. Just like in English, we say the core of the heart. But in Sanskrit, we say, Hridaya Kandare Spiritu Va Sachinandana. Our Rupa Goswami, he prays that may that son of Mother Sachi always be manifest within the cave, Kandara, Hridaya Kandare, within the cave of your heart. We say core, within Sanskrit we say cave. So Kandara, Mulai. Just like, Mulai means fruits and roots, especially roots, you know, just like if you come in Kartik time, then all the push carts all around Govardhan, you'll see with muli, this white radish. Huh? So Brishvasi boys, 24 hours a day, they're hungry. 24 hours a day, they're greedy too. If you give them 10 rupees and they want 20. If you give 20, they want 50. If you give 50, they want 100. If you give 100, they want 5. If you give 5, then they want 1,000. They're following their leader. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Yad Yad Acharati Shreshtas, whatever the great man does, so they're all following Krishna. So many fruits and roots are there. So this is how he's serving. Hantaya Madri Abala Haridasa Parja Yad Rama Krishna Charanam Sparasham Pramoda Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayos Tayuryat Pani Yasuya Vasakandra Kandamulai. So everyone can repeat. Hantayam Adri Abala Adidasa Varjo Yad Rama Krishna Charanam Sparsham Pramoda Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayos Tayoryat Paniya Suyavasa Kandara Kandamula Antaya Madriya Balarida Savarjo Yabalarida Yad Rama Krishna Charanam Sparasam Pramoda Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayos Tayoryat Pani Asuya Vasakandara Kanda Mula Pani Asuya. So now you've all memorized Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Prikama verse, Prikama mantra. Hmm? So the next time you do Prikama, you can sing this song. And you can find it in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in whatever language you know. Um, we have it in Canada also, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Canada and Tamil and Malayalam. So whatever your language, Hindi, whatever your language, we have Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can look it up in, I think it's 14th chapter of uh, Madhya Lila. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the 14th chapter. You can learn this verse. So I don't see a clock anywhere, so. But anyway, my voice isn't going to last much longer, so we'll put our voice to rest here. If anybody has any questions, we can try to answer them. And we're considering, since we had to cut short this visit, because on Monday we'll be leaving, so we're considering that, because we come back to Bombay, so then from Bombay we're thinking that we'll come spend some time here with you in Bangalore. And that time we'll bring books. This time we didn't bring books with us. But that time we'll bring books with us. We'll ship them here. I'm too old. I can't do it anymore. I only do by car now. That's why I got sick. We went on. My godbrother came, Pundarik. Pundarik and I, we made a bus, and we traveled. We put Gornitai in the back of the bus. Those Gornitai are the Gornitai that Indra Prabhu took over. But they were made by Pundarik. He went straight to Bankura a couple of times to watch them make them, and then he brought them, and we put them in that bus. We went all over UP, MP, and Rajasthan together. We used to live together in the old Gurukul building in the Brahmachari ashram. Yeah. No, we went by car. We went around. Yeah. I can't. I'm too old to do it anymore.
That's why I got sick actually. That time it was very cold.
Yeah. Punjari came. We went to Govardhan Prikar, and then I'm sick. Yeah, that was Govardhan Prikar was after Baroda. So. Only one place we couldn't find. Before you get to Anur, there's a big kund. It's always dry, and the little kids are always playing cricket in it. So I call it Cricket Kund. But I couldn't find any information. Otherwise, whatever we know about Govardhan is in this book. Any other questions? Everyone fell asleep? Okay, way in the back, there's a question. Or you can go on the IskonBrindavan.com website and poke around to their bookstore, and our book is also there. To make us
for your
feel
wonderful
it,
class.
now we feel at home. The technology always fails in Vrindavan.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for your wonderful class. So I just had one question, like how to develop the mood of Rajvasis to always for Krishna and never for us, and then how to keep that steadily. Because when we live outside, many times we get affected by outside. So
Well, I gave
how
you
to
the
keep the mood
hint.
of Vrindavan, Rajvasis.
I gave you the hint. You come and visit us in Vrindavan and see all the places, and then you come back here and you'll always think about Vrindavan. And when you go to Vrindavan, you should come with mood of service. It's not a picnic. We're going to picnic. No, we're going to see the holy places and hear Krishna's pastimes. Just like there was one lady. She was from Toronto. Right now, Toronto's about minus 20 degrees. Everybody, they don't go out their front door. They go out the second floor. There's so much snow. They have a special way to get out the second. She's from Mauritius, which is where we're going next, which is a nice and warm place. How she lived in Toronto, I don't know. But she used to come every year for my pickerwood. And she'd always bring little boxes of kesher, saffron. And whatever was her favorite temple, she would give some box of saffron for that temple. And now she's living in Vrindavan. She got into that cold Toronto, and now that she and her husband, they stay in Vrindavan and do lots of nice service. So you come with attitude of service. Just like so many thousands of devotees coming every day to Vrindavan, and we're giving them breakfast and lunch free of charge. So you can donate for the prasadam distribution. And I get the announcements every day from Vrindavan. Yesterday, 20,000 leaf cups of Khichdi prasadam. You can donate for Food for Life. Of course, the deities are unparalleled. You can donate for their service or whatever. The cows are there, Krishna Balaram's cows. You can do cow seva. You come with the attitude of seva. If you always serve Vrindavan and always remember Vrindavan, then you develop Vrindavan Bhav, no doubt. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for wonderful class. So my question is, can you see or can you heard any Leelas, Krishna's Leelas today also happening in Vrindavan? Any Leelas till?
Oh yeah, of course. There's a Prakat Lila and Aprakat Lila. For those who have the eyes to see, Krishna's Leelas are going on still in Vrindavan. It's a living tirth. When you go there, you will feel, Prabhupada said, even an atheist, if he goes to Vrindavan, you'll feel that something is different here. And I've seen people who, because it's on the way to Agra, so sometimes, armies come, and they just feel something different here. So, because Krishna's Leelas are still going on, if you have eyes to see.
For your side, any experience, Prabhuji? For your side, any experience happened? Have you seen it? Personal experience, any?
Well, everything in Vrindavan is amazing.
Okay, bro. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
I remember one time I went on the Brajmanda Prakrama, the walking one with Lokanath Swami and crew. And after they took me off the hot seat, when I was president, I couldn't do it. As soon as I got me off the hot seat, the first thing I did was go and brush Randa Prikama with the walking Prikama. And in the old days, he used to come back to Vrindavan in the middle of the Prikama and then continue. They come back for Prabhupada's disappearance and then go back and continue. And now they just stay out, they don't come back. So, and to get to the spot where we were going, Lohavan, you have to go all the way, you have to go across the bridge, you have to walk for a long ways, then there's Mansarovar, and then finally you come to Lohavan. It's quite a long ways. And it was a Kadasi. And somehow the Brajmanda Prikama authorities decided that everybody was going to fast in the morning. And they said, oh my goodness, this is a very long walk before we get to the breakfast spot. And it's not a good idea. But anyway, that's what they did. So on the way to the pontoon bridge, we stopped at Gopishwar, me and a few other devotees. And I bought some nice pera there because pera is just milk and sugar, so it doesn't break a Kadasi. If you know where to buy it. Some places you can't trust. There was a beautiful sweet shop just near Gopishwar, so I bought a bunch of pera. And that time, this was like, more than 35 years ago. More than 30 years ago, anyway. And there was like 150 devotees on Braj Prikama. Now there's like 15,000 devotees, going Prikama. And 90% were all Westerners. So I knew they don't know how to do Madhukari because they don't know the language. So we passed through some village. So I asked for some chach, some Braj Prikama. Everybody loves to beg for chach, because in Braj, we take the milk, we don't take the cream off and turn it into butter. We take the whole, turn it into yogurt, and churn it into butter. What's left over, that is the real buttermilk. And everybody gives that for free. Nobody cares about that. So I asked for some chach. And somehow that day they didn't have any chach. And they were embarrassed. Some sadhu came and wanted some chach they couldn't give. So they were trying to give me yogurt. Now yogurt's very expensive in Braj. No. They insisted. They gave me a big pot of yogurt, so I drank a big pot of yogurt. My belly was nice and full. And anyway, to make a long story short, everybody fasted. And the Brajmala Prikama authorities realized that it was a big mistake because it was a long walk to get to the breakfast place. So they made a big feast, with fried peanuts and the singara halava and, fried potato chips and everything fried in ghee. And of course they blamed everything because they bought some rubbery from the market. They blamed it on that. But somehow everybody had fasted for so long, and now all of us are eating all this heavy fried foods. Everybody got so sick. And on the other side of the road was the place where we used to take care of our bathroom. And people were just, every 5 seconds, somebody was running across the road. Some people even didn't make it across the road. They just collapsed right in the middle, And people were throwing up. It was a big mess. And I thought, uh-oh. Now they fasted all day. Whatever they gave for lunch, they passed out one side or the other side, or both. And tomorrow there's a long walk to the breakfast spot. So, and they don't know how to do Madhukar. They're all foreigners. So we got to some village. It wasn't even a paved road to that village. There wasn't even electricity in that village. And I asked one villager for some rotis. And the village was a little ways off the path, so he ran into the village. He brought back some rotis, and I was with a nice Maharashtrian devotee named Om Tat Sat. You may know he's a little black devotee, disciple of Lokanath Swami. So I started shoving all the rotis in his shoulder bag. And then Brishwa said, "What are you doing?" I said, "No, this is not for me, this is for my friends." He said, "You don't worry about your friends. You take this." And he pulled them out and he took us, some temple was there. He sat us down. The pujari brought dal and sabji, and we had nice hot, Brishvasi rotis with ghee that was, just melted on top, butter just melted on top. And I kept trying to hide the rotis, but he told that pujari, "Feed them, feed them, feed them." And then he disappeared. And I thought, we were relishing like anything, nice hot rotis and hot sabji and hot dal. And, oh, it's so nice, And I was feeling very guilty. And then I was running along to catch up. And there's another village, no paved road, no electricity, no nothing. Tarapur, it was named Tarapur. And I passed one Brijbasi and he said, "Did you see some foreigners on Prikama?" He said, "Yeah, they're in the village ahead." So I, ran up to the village ahead, Tarapur. And that fellow who'd given me the rotis, he'd gone ahead and he warned the village, "There's 150 foreigners coming, feed them." So when I came to Tarapur, there was, 150 devotees all having nice roti. And as soon as you put your lota down, if they fill it again with charge. You finished it, and then you put it loaded up, charge. And the ladies were coming with big stacks of rotis, steam coming off, and fresh butter melting, from all sides. They were coming every 5 minutes, bringing rotis. There's 150 foreigners in the middle of nowhere getting madhukari. It was just amazing. We had this big. That was one of the most amazing experiences I had. Okay, so we'll put our voice to rest here. Sri Vrindavan Dham ki, revealer of the holy Dham, Srila Prabhupada ki, aap sab log ki.
His Grace Dinabandhu Prabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So we thank Prabhuji for taking our first two Bras. So and also Prabhuji travels all the world and he gives the same pastimes and take them everybody to Bras. So Prabhuji also helps Vrinda Devi temple is maintained. Prabhuji also helps many more temples. So as our Dakshina can give you a donation. So our yeah, stand temple side, Prabhu